Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be doing a quick build video about my Solar Titan. So this is after Solar 3.0 came out. This is the Arc 3.0 season. So obviously Class C restoration's gone away, and there's been a Loreley Splendor nerf. I personally think Loreley Splendor was a waste of an exotic. And this build is kind of why, because you can have plenty of survivability without Loreley Splendor on. And this actually lets you output significant amounts of damage as a Solar Titan using your hammer, of course. So let me get into it with you guys real quick. Alright, so the weapons, don't even worry about those. That's just what I'm running. I'm doing some Kinksfall shit. Don't even worry about that. So for the fragments down here, right, the reason that I have these fragments on is actually to hit this triple 100 stat roll right here. I can hit double 100s without doing this, but in order to get the triple, I actually had to get into my fragments. So I'm not running Radiant or anything like that. It's kind of up to you guys how you want to run those fragments. These honestly don't matter too much, right? So Towering Barricade, Strafe Lift, Throwing Hammer, of course, and a Healing Nade. This is for my teammates. In higher end content like GM, stuff like that, you could probably run a Healing Nade as well for yourself. That way, if you do get into a sticky situation, you can pop that. It gives you a little bit of time to either go grab your hammer because you missed, or to actually throw it at something. So every time you throw this hammer, because we're running Roaring Flames and Soul Invictus, right? So Solar Ability Final Blows, Hammer of Soul Impacts, and defeating Scorched targets creates Sunspots, right? So what these do is Sunspots allow you to heal. They grant you 1x1 restoration. Okay, Loreley Splendor before the nerf was giving you ×2. That's why people would run it. Now Sunspots as a whole, including on Loreley Splendor, giving you a ×1. So, not really a point since you make a Sunspot every time you throw your hammer. Right? And then Roaring Flames, of course. Final Blows with the Solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your Solar abilities. Stacks 3 times. This is important for when you're doing big damage numbers with your Bonk hammer. Get Roaring Flames ×3. Pair that up with the Synthoceps buff and maybe a Tractor debuff. Bam, you're doing 180k a bonk, depending on what you're fighting and what your light level is. On Galron, with all of the ads surrounding you when you go to do damage to him in duality, with a Tractor Cannon debuff, Roaring Flames ×3, and with the Nightmare debuff, or Nightmare buff, excuse me, you're going to get about 150k a bonk. Without the Nightmare buff, you're getting about 130. With no Roaring Flames, a Tractor Cannon debuff, and a Synthoceps buff, you're getting about 70k. And then without the Synthoceps buff, you're getting, I think it's like 40 to 60, depending, So Roaring Flames and Soul Invictus go really well together. This is obviously a PvE build. If you're running PvP on a Solar Titan, I recommend Consecration, because this little slam's kind of nuts. I've seen a couple different builds around using concentration in PvE, but that's just not what I prefer on my build. I prefer to have Soul Invictus with Roaring Flames. The synergy there is really good, especially for the healing. Having Soul Invictus on is what allows you to get restoration when you enter your Sunspot. Okay, so down here we got Ember of Char. Solar Ignition, Spread Scorch infected targets. We got Ember of Solace, Ember of Searing, Ember of Wonder. Like I said, the only reason I'm running any of these is specifically for this triple 100 build. If I wasn't running this triple 100 build, but I was running my double Resilience and Discipline 100 build, I would be running Ember of Char because that spread is actually really nice. Ember of Solace again still. And then I'd be running Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. Getting that tall wall back can save you in sticky situations. Where's the other one that I typically run? It's the one that makes you radiant. Yeah, right here. Ember of Torches, making you and nearby allies radiant when you bonk shit with the hammer. That's what I was running for a while. And I've been thinking about replacing Ember of Solace with it, you know, just to kind of see what I can get with damage, things like that. That's it for that. So for the armor, we're going to go through each of the mods in these slots, right? Specifically that last mod slot, like here you see Well of Life, right? So this is pretty huge to staying alive on your Solar Titan. I think, especially in higher end content, you get a kill, have a melee Wellmaker on, pick up your Well of Life, bam. You got healing for, 5-10 seconds, right? The ammo finder is going to depend on what you're running. You can run Inferno Whip for unstops. Really good with the hammer because you can actually throw it across the room. It's not a run up and punch, right? Did that on day 1 King's Fall. Came in really handy. So down here, I got all my Synthoceps. This is what I recommend running. Synthoceps, not really any other exotics. You could do a hard to end most light build if you really want. Get a little bit bigger damage numbers, but I think Synthoceps is just kind of a nice fallback because get into a sticky situation, you get surrounded. Oh shit, you're throwing a hammer and doing, 100k a bonk. Right? So, got a melee Wellmaker on it and Focusing Strike. This is kind of nice. Focusing Strike specifically because you're throwing your hammer everywhere all the time anyway. Might as well get some class ability energy back for that. Alright, so on the chest plate, I don't have anything right now because I'm running double linear reserves plus this resilience mod. So yeah, what you can do and what I have done before, right? So let me go through the rest of these first. Bountiful Wells, this is kind of nice because you can stack with Elemental Time Dilation and with Melee Wellmaker plus Bountiful Wells. You get 2 wells every time you kill something with your Bonk Hammer. That stacks with Elemental Time Dilation. So instead of just 10 seconds, instead of just 10 seconds of healing, you're getting 12 to 15. I think is last time I saw the number, it was like 12 to 15. Okay, that can be huge depending on what you're doing, because throw up a tall wall, you can sit behind it for 10, 15 seconds, let yourself heal up, bam, you're good to go back into the fight, right? I run Utility Kickstart with it. That's just to get the tall wall back. Nothing here for seasonal mods that I'm really looking at. Maybe Sundering Glare, but, depending on what we're doing, there's usually a div or, some kind of Void Hunter. So specifically for running things like high energy fire, right? I used to run high energy fire all the time for everything. It didn't matter what I was doing. I had high energy fire on. Really fun. But what I would do is where this Bountiful Wells was, I'd replace that with an Elemental Charge. Right? So come down here, put on Elemental Charge. And then on my chest, I would only run 1 reserve mod. Right? And then I would throw on high energy fire in this last slot. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. Not a huge deal if you don't want to do that. I totally understand. Keeping the healing up is kind of nice because it leaves you alive to actually do damage to things. Okay. But what I would do in this case for this build is I would actually leave on the double linear reserves, and then I would swap out this Bountiful Wells for Elemental Charge, come down here and swap out this Elemental Time Dilation for high energy fire. You could do Font of Might if you want to. If you got a juiced up freaking Cataclysmic, 4 times a charm, bait and switch, something like that. Stack Font of Might on there, stock on that bad boy, bam, doing the big juicer damage, right? I personally don't have the juice Cataclysmic. As you can see, I'm just running the juice type hand. So running Font of Might's not going to do me really any good. As you can see, I'm running double special on this build. The Bonk Hammer allows you to do that and stay alive and clear ads, right? So like the Oryx fight, low manning it, you can double special, not worry about your ammo count too much for things like all stuff like that, because throwing hammer plus roaring flames and Soul Invictus equals ad clear for you, right? That being said, if you are running a Font of Might build, you can come in here, take off roaring flames, and throw that hammer, get those wells ready, bam, right? You can just sit there, kill all the little ads with your hammer without roaring flames popping up, bam, you got a ton of elemental wells for your Font of Might. I'd say the biggest thing here is just practicing with the hammer, getting used to using it, getting comfortable throwing it, because you're gonna, and the more comfortable you get with it, the crazier hammer throws you can get. Not like we're out here trick shotting with hammers, but you know what I mean. As far as super goes, you get two choices, obviously. You got Hammer of Soul, and you got Burning Ball, aka Spin to Win. Spin to Win is definitely a DPS super. So if you know the boss you're going against and you're like, yeah, I'm going to pop, Spin to Win on them, cool. Depending on what we're doing, I usually run Hammer of Soul for ad clear. In case we get into a tight situation, I can pop hammers. Bam, bam, bam. Ads are dead. I can go res my homies, or my homies can go res the other homies. Kind of nice. Especially for things like, duality, low manning. If you're soloing duality on the Keitel fight, you can pop hammers, throw 2 hammers to each side and in the middle, kill all the bell keepers, and then look at Keitel and watch her walk to whatever bell she's going to go to, right? So that's kind of the nice thing about running Hammer of Soul. Again, if you want to run Spin to Win, totally fine. It's just user preference at that point. As far as grenades go, I usually run Thermite or Solar. You could run Fusion Grenade as well if you want. It's kind of nice because I know for sure on the Thermite and the Fusion Grenade, and I think the Solar Grenade as well, it's going to keep your Roaring Flames up. So I know when it first came out, not every grenade in here was giving you your Roaring Flames on grenade kill, which kind of sucked. But I like to run Thermite Grenade because it kind of helps control ads coming out of a certain door or whatever. You do the same thing with like the Solar Grenade, Fusion Grenade, bigger damage, but not really good for like ad clear stuff like that, right? So you can use that grenade if you are getting low, or if you have missed your hammer and you're waiting for it to recharge, or like your Roaring Flames counter is a bit low, but you see this enemy and you're like, oh, I know I can hit the grenade. I don't know if I can hit the hammer. Bam, throw your grenade. Roaring Flames continues to burn, right? There is, let's see here. You can run Ember of Benevolence if you'd like. Grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration after applying Restoration, Cure, Radiant. A solar weapon final blows or abilities extend the duration of Restoration, Radiant. Again, you can run these things if you want. This is just what I'm running, so I get the triple 100 stats down there, right? It looks kind of nice to my brain. I like it. It works. The 100 recovery with the healing is just juiced, right? So there, I thought there was, doesn't look like it. So really, if let's say you are, throw your hammer, miss, damn, but you got on Thermite Grenade. That's where Soul Invictus comes in. Okay, solar ability final blows. Creates sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster, right? While you're standing in a sunspot. So get the hammer back quicker. Same thing if you have Roaring Flames, right? You can do an unpowered melee with Roaring Flames, and it's actually going to deal solar damage, scorching the enemy, giving you more recharge on that hammer or your grenade. When you're fighting Take and Thrall, throwing your hammer is not always the best thing because they teleport around all the time. So just punching them in the face while you got Roaring Flames. Works great. You still do big damage numbers to them. They're, most Take and Thrall, you're going to one punch with Roaring Flames. Even taking Acolytes, most of them, you're going to punch one time and they're going to die with Roaring Flames, right? That damage, of course, scales depending on how many stacks of Roaring Flames you have. Times 1, times 2, times 3. Damage goes up. Times 3 is the max. Okay. The biggest thing about that is be careful, because not everything you're going to punch with your fist is going to get killed like it would with your hammer. So just kind of keep that in mind. But that's really it for the Solar Titan build. Got him out here looking like Optimus Prime. So yeah, I'm going to show you just a little bit of gameplay with what we can do. Right, again, I'm running the double special, so nothing too big there. But as we can see, these dudes are pretty much killed all of each other, making it easy on me. You're just going to come up, bam, dead, bam, one punched, dead. No, not dead. That's awkward. Back here. Bam, now he's dead. Alright, look at those roaring flames taking care of the light work. Be careful with the scorch grenade, because if you hit an enemy with it, it's going to bounce off in a random direction. Okay, look at that. As you can see, I'm creating sunspots with my uncharged melee hit. The key to this build working is to bind your charged and uncharged melees to different keys. Alright, so we're going to come in here and go to settings. And we're going to scroll down right here. Okay? So as we can see, auto melee is off. Charged melee is set to one of my mouse buttons. The uncharged melee is set to C. So that's something to keep in mind when you're using this build, because if you're using auto melee, what's going to happen is you're going to go to throw a hammer, right? You're going to try to throw a hammer, and you're going to do an uncharged melee. That's not what you want. You want to be able to sit there. If you're on somebody with a tractor cannon, just throw that hammer as many times as you want without doing this. Okay? But that's really it as far as gameplay for this goes. It's super easy to set up, super easy to play with in my opinion. This is what carried me through all of my solo dungeon attempts. The only one I haven't done yet, solo flawless, is Prophecy. But I've done Duality, done Grasp of Avarice, which we're actually in right now. I've done Pit of Heresy, and Shattered Throne, all on this Solar Titan. Duality was with Classy Restoration. So, just kind of keep that in mind. It was with Classy Restoration, which made soloing Kyle really easy because you pop a tall wall after getting hit by the snipers, bam, you're healed. This one, pop on that healing nade, do the same thing, right? You're just going to pop a tall wall. And my grenade's not going to be charged right now because I just swapped it, but you throw down a healing nade, bam, going back to doing damage to Kyle, or while you're on the move to the next spell, that type of thing, right? This build is really about getting up close and bonking things, right? So, bam. Letting that sunspot do all the work for me. Scorching all these dudes, doing plenty of damage. Don't have to worry about doing too much to them afterward. Really easy. I'm going to turn on my HUD for you guys so you can see all of the different buffs and debuffs that I have right now. It's under gameplay. Yep. Alright, so now that the HUD's back on, I'm going to show you guys. So as you can see on the left side of the screen there, I got Cure. Now, got Burdened by Riches, got Soul Invictus, got Healing. Restoration's also active with the healing, which is really nice. Keep in mind that your uncharged melee, while you have Roaring Flames active, counts as a charged melee. So if you're making wells, right, if you got melee wellmaker on it, you are making wells for the homies. Gonna work with your uncharged melee. That's the best thing about it, I think, in my opinion. Running Bountiful Wells with melee wellmaker. Got Roaring Flames on. Oh no, I threw the hammer out there, right? Just come in here, punch things. Look at that. Hammer is basically already back, right? Kind of crazy. And look at that, hammer's back. Like, the timing on that was so small. That's, you know, that's a mix between the build synergy as well as Bountiful Wells being on with the melee wellmaker. That's really it, and I can just sit here, punch one thing, Roaring Flames will take care of the rest. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. That's going to be it for this build. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up, and I'll try to answer them for you. Thanks, and have a good one. Peace.